Suck my ass, this is Stiff Oddcast.
Hello and welcome to the Stiff Oddcast.
Episode 6.
Episode 6. What is the date today? Does anyone know what the date is?
The 14th?
April 14th, is it? Yeah. And we're here with Superstar Ray Waddell. And we're just going to be... How's it going, man?
Pretty good, man. How you guys doing?
Doing all right, man.
I'm feeling pretty comfortable.
Just been chilling, man. This weather's been kind of crazy. I mean, it's it's about 30 degrees outside now.
Yeah, it's weird because I have a sunburn. I was actually helping someone out on an auction over the weekend, and I got a sunburn on the back of my neck and my arms, and now it's supposed to be down to 30 degrees, and it's like, what the hell is going on, you know?
Weather don't know which way to go anymore.
I know, it's a little strange.
But see, Kentucky's always had that weird fucking weather pattern,
It really
though.
does have that's no joke at all. It's no exaggeration. Kentucky's weather is something to study for sure. Now, Ray is known as the Superstar in WWA, which is an indie promotion out of Muhlenberg County, Kentucky. Would you care to give a brief history for anyone listening to this of the WWA?
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, WWA, I mean, we started forever ago. Of course, it started as, like, me and my brother on the trampoline, like anyone else. I believe I was, like, 4 when we started wrestling on trampoline. We did that for a long time, and then in 2004, we stayed out and got a ring and everything. So I believe when I was 18, we started going on the road, taking bookings with other promotions. Then in 2011, we got our license and started running our own shows here in Kentucky. And was never really formally trained. We just kind of, did what we could. And then as we went, as we got more bookings and worked with more experienced people, learned on the way, and kind of how that worked out. Now we're running shows in Livermore, Kentucky. We just started running in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and we were in Central City when it came in.
Yeah,
going into something a lot bigger than backyard wrestling.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I was wondering, how is it? Bowling Green's a bigger market, man. How was the crowd for Inception?
I actually never got a number on it. I mean, it was pretty decent. Well, I didn't know until Saturday night was companies that ran Bowling Green usually average 30 people, So we were already in a tough spot. But I mean, we had maybe 200 people, something like that. 150 maybe. That's
a large amount of people.
That's pretty good for your first time ever running a city, And we're planning on building on that. We got a show back in Bowling Green on May 3rd that we hope, people bring out the friends. From what we heard, everyone there was pretty impressed, and we had some radio guys come out, and they were impressed. They want to come back, so we're hoping the word gets around, and it just keeps going from there.
Dude, it's all about WWA exposure, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and plus, I imagine you was talking about doing trampoline wrestling. The transitional period from taking a back body drop, say, on the trampoline versus the canvas had to be a huge difference, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah. It was hell, man. I didn't catch on quick at all. We went through the ring. I mean, I was hitting my head all the time. It was ridiculous. But, I mean, it took me like a year before I actually started getting comfortable where I could do. I mean, of course, the pain level went up a whole lot there. But, yeah, it took a while. It was a weird transition, but it worked out.
Well, yeah, I would say so.
But also, just learning how to bounce off the ropes of Irish whips seemed like that was a huge step. That, to me, it seems like, from what I've heard from everyone talking about it, those ropes are rough.
Oh, yeah, man, they're not even ropes. Most indie companies are just steel cables with a protective covering around it, That's all it is. So when you're hitting that, you're just hitting cables and just springing off of those. So, yeah, they're pretty rough. That was bad as hitting a ring sometimes.
God, yeah, because I heard you can just get bruises on your back just from from an Irish whip.
Yeah, just taking a normal whip into the ropes will hurt you. Yeah.
Yes. So the Bowling Green show was a success. I would say that's a success.
Yeah, I mean, if we put on a show right now with a band and we had about 150 or 105 people show up, I would say it was a success by all means.
And it seems like, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I used to come to y'all shows and y'all are doing, Escape the Rain?
Really? Oh, well, that's cool, man.
That's awesome.
We don't really get too many, well, we've gotten some feedback about those shows way down the road. I guess because there's so many things were going on at the time, it was kind of hard to get a read on it. But it's so cool that people. Did you enjoy it? Did you like it though?
Yeah, see, man, when they used to do the Ag Center shows.
Yeah.
I think they even did one at the high school.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are a part of that, but yeah, I used to go to shows all the time.
Cool. Yeah.
I mean, I don't got much of a memory, but I remembered, like, you guys, who else was in the band with you guys?
It was, well, me and Casey.
Yeah, it was me, Casey, Brett McDowell, and Josh Griffin for a little bit. Then it was Bob Casey for a little bit on drums. Then it was Dusty Willis on the drums, too.
We had different drummers, and we swapped around members, so I don't expect anyone to be like, I know what your entire lineup, unless you followed that. But
I remember seeing you guys when Josh Griffin was with you, because I kind of knew him at the time. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see,
So.
there's something about live performance, I would say, Ray, that just makes you feel good. It's just really fun.
It's fun, yeah. And I guess the rush you get, that's another thing, dude. When you first got a show, you started a booking on a card, and you had so many people that were so into it. Well, how did that feel going in the ring and just you're hitting your shit right, everything is hitting off right? How did that feel, man? Like, what was going through your mind?
Man, literally the first show I did, was probably 60 people, and it wasn't a church, but it was like a little basement of some kind of hall. It was 100 degrees in this building, and I mean, crappy ring and everything, but to me it was the coolest thing ever, I went in there with, you guys know Jordan Whitaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Jeremy Gray went in there, and we did a triple threat match, and my brother was on the show, and some of our other guys, and it was up there in Illinois, I believe. And it's just you're not doing much, but for being your first show, it was insane. So felt like you started, you made it somewhere.
Well, I guess
so.
How I should have
phrased.
phrased.
It's an awesome feeling, man. Getting in front of a crowd, any kind of sense is just insane.
When you do something and you get a pop, or if you get
a rise out of anyone,
you get a rise out of somebody. I can't imagine, because as a wrestling fan, since being knee high to a 10-inch amp, guitar amp or whatever, I always wondered what it was like, because growing up through that era of WWF wrestling, where you see your Hulk Hogan's and your Jake the Snakes and Ultimate Warriors and so on and so forth. You saw this reaction. It's kind of like Beatlemania, if you had to compare it. What is it like, though, to be in an area where people are just reacting so emotionally to what you're doing? I mean, that has to be something special,
If you guys get a chance to come to the WWA show, it's ridiculous, because a lot of shows you go to, people just sit on their hands, but we got, of course, I'm not the most loved guy in the company whatsoever, but we got some of the most passionate fans ever. And I've had people threaten to kill me, man. It's nuts.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome, though.
That's some Freddie Blassie heat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's.
I've had people jump. We used to have a rope instead of barricades. That was a bad idea. I had people cross the rope coming at me, and I've had people trying to come over the barricade at me. It's insane, man. Wrestling fans are some of the most passionate human beings in the world.
Oh, that's 100% true, man. Just because I think I talked about this on the last Oddcast, is there's not too many wrestling fans, at least that I know, really personally. But when you meet that one wrestling fan, they're diehard. Mm-hmm. It's no halfway point. Yeah. They're not I'm kind of into wrestling. There's they're diehard, fanatical.
Yeah, with our shows, we've had people I've had people straight up tell me man, I don't like wrestling. I don't like wrestling at all. I don't see the point. And I'm like, man, come check it out. And I've had people tell me I hate wrestling. I hate WWE, but I like you guys' shows. I'm like, I don't know why. I don't know the difference, but something about it. People just come to WWA shows, and the whole environment is just so much different from what people think of stereotypical wrestling as. And we've had a lot of people kind of, join the ranks of the wrestling fan because of our shows. So
dude,
I don't know what the difference is, but it's pretty crazy.
Seeing wrestling live is a completely different beast, man.
It really is. When I got to see my first live wrestling show was in Louisville, Kentucky. Actually, it's Evansville, Indiana. It was SmackDown 2001.
That'd be 2001 or 2, man.
2. We had Eddie Guerrero on the card. I got to see him. I got to see Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle, but I can't even describe. You know, as a musician, you would have thought that I've been to more concerts than stuff like this. But going to see this show was so intense, dude. I can remember how it smelled. You know, it's like I can, in the pyro, when it would go off, you know, I could smell that.
It's just chaos.
It
Because
was,
when you're watching at home, you just got, the commentators telling you what's going on.
but you don't know shit.
And when you watch it
Yeah.
live, you feed off the wrestlers in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is this controlled chaos, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, that's one of the things when I work shows, and some of these places will do the live commentary, like live over the house microphone. People kind of trying to commentate. So annoying because you're trying to get the fans to watch you, and fans that listen to someone half the time. I mean, if they're good, it can work. But most of the time, it's just like, come on, shut up, and let me do my job.
Yeah, it's
Right,
true, man.
right.
Did they do the live commentary at the Inception show?
No, we never do live commentary.
Okay, let's make sure.
The couple guys came down. I don't know if they do a radio station or what, but and they had they set up a table and did commentary, but they recorded it into the computer, and they're supposed to I don't know if they're going to try to do DVDs out of it, or if they're going to try.
Well, that's good though.
They
That's
have some
really
kind
good.
of show they do. So.
That's amazing though for your promotion. I think that will circulate some buzzwords about it. Okay, well, what at this moment, dude? Who is the top 3 wrestlers of all time to you? I know that's a really heavy. It's a heavy-handed question.
This one's going to be hard.
I know, but at the moment, that's the reason why I put that in parentheses in my notes here. At the moment, who's the top wrestlers on your mind?
I've always been a huge Chris Jericho fan.
Okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
agree.
He's still
I
there.
love Chris Jericho.
From a wrestler and from a fan
Yes.
standpoint,
Yes.
Oh, man. I probably put The Undertaker on there.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, totally.
And,
It's tough,
I'm
I
on the
know.
spot here, man.
I know it's
It's
ridiculous,
tough, dude. It's tough.
There's so many.
I know.
Maybe like a Stone Cold or Shawn Michaels, because I grew up hearing that stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel you, man. Because, sometimes wrestling is a little bit about nostalgia. And
It is.
And but see, when you look back on someone like Stone Cold or Shawn Michaels, well, to me, I'm not a Shawn Michaels fan personally, but Steve Austin, not only was he over, but he was a really good wrestler too. He was his style of wrestling was, I guess, kind of roughneck, I guess you would say. But looking back on him now, during that, looking back at the Attitude Era, he was really awesome. He's a shit. And Chris Jericho, holy
shit.
damn, dude, he's top 5 or top maybe 2, maybe number 2 favorite wrestler of all time. Always will be. It's just like you said, man, he's good on the mic and he's perfection in the ring,
Oh yeah. Chris Jericho. I can't. Towards his dying days, as some would say in wrestling journalism in WCW, I loved him. They were trying to bury him, I guess. I don't know for what reason there in WCW, but when I heard through the grapevine that he was making his way towards the World Wrestling Federation at the time, I was like, that's perfect. That's exactly what they need is this dude. And I'm so glad that Vince and the creative team had the cojones to do a very proper and very epic introduction to the World Wrestling Entertainment world with his debut in what was it, 1999? But I had the exact date marked on the VHS. That was one of the first Raws I recorded when we had satellite.
Yeah, who didn't record wrestling during that
I
time?
know, but he is, and it's a shame to kind of even mention him in past tense because I think he gets better.
Yeah, sure.
What I liked about Jericho's style in the ring is what I thought was so interesting, because he was a perfect hybrid of energetic, spot-oriented. He studied lucha libre a little bit, and he worked Japan very well too. And he also had his attitude in his promos because he was a writer, so he wrote a lot of stuff. He actually wrote articles for Heavy Metal magazine for a while. And when he came into the ring, and that was the smartest move he could have made, And he was so over. He interrupted The Rock, during this, and they cut.
Yeah, but he's the only guy that can actually stand toe to. The Rock is the best promo man in the business. I mean, do you agree with that, Ray?
Or who?
He's definitely one of the top guys. He's one of the guys I'd like give him a mic. He's a good wrestler, great wrestler, but I'd rather hear him on the mic any day.
Oh yeah, he's definitely not the greatest wrestler, dude. It's he was just really good about making his opponent look good and overselling whatever move he's getting hit with.
The Rock had an understanding of the business that some people need to just study. Like, he knew how to push himself and to be colorful and when to, but if pushed hard enough, Rocky Maivia, Rocky Johnson, Dwayne Johnson, was able to come up on those expectations when he had to. I think that's why him and Steve Austin worked these programs so well for about 3 or 4 times. And the reason why people wanted to see it so often is because of The Rock's versatility. Was, like that when he faced John Cena at WrestleMania 28, is that right?
No, it might have been 29.
One of those.
No, 28 and 29, but is it, yeah, 28 and 29, right?
Yeah, both the thing.
Okay, well, The Rock, outside of the fact that he was physically, and 10, and he wrestled on the level, 12, he looked good. Like, he was he was showing the audience that he never lost it, and he never will, doing these spots and stuff, and doing stuff he usually doesn't do, and he does it so casual, Yeah,
I didn't want the John Cena showing up. But see, speaking of The Rock, he had this awesome program with the Hurricane, I think. What was that, 2003 or something?
Yes, that was an awesome program. Angle, whatever you want to call it.
The Hurricane was at Inception, right? How was it like?
Yeah, he was.
How was it meeting Shane Helms? How was that?
Oh, he's a cool dude. I didn't talk to him too much. I was in a different locker room, but he's a pretty cool dude. His match was really good. He went on main event with the guy that works with us, Alexander Knight. They had a hell of a match. Had the crowd going nuts. So yeah, he wasn't off the step either. I'm surprised he was still on TV.
Dude, yeah. What is he's from South Carolina or North Carolina, right? One of the Carolinas.
He kind of has a southern drawl to
thick
his voice.
southern drawl.
Yeah.
He actually runs his own shows in North Carolina now, I believe.
That's awesome. He should, dude, because I've never heard anyone say anything bad about Shane Helms in back of the locker room or anything at WWE. But he did have some interesting things to say about Shawn Michaels, though.
Yes, I've seen
those interviews.
Okay. Outside of that, too, man, one of the things that you had the privilege of experiencing more so than most of the wrestling nerds and historians here in little old Muhlenberg County, Kentucky, is you actually got to meet some of the biggest industry legends of all time.
I got to beat a few up and get beat up by a few, too.
Yeah, okay, dude, it's awesome.
And I got to say, bro, that's pretty goddamn impressive. You got to meet Jake the Snake Roberts, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan, right?
Yeah, I actually wrestled Hacksaw.
Okay. That's impressive. Now, you got to be in ring with these guys.
Yeah, just basically explain, how did that feel, man? How was that feel?
I mean, come on, dude. I know that you're a hardcore wrestling nerd. How did that feel, meeting these guys face to face and working with them?
Like on one hand, you want to be the fan and run up, hey, give me a picture, how's it going? But on the other hand, you also got to realize you're working with them. You got to be professional. So
yeah,
it's different, but it's still cool to go in there with someone that has all this experience and do your best. Get beat up, beat them up, and at the end of the day, you learn from it. It's a cool sport. You learn something every time. But yeah, it's insane when people, you watch growing up, walk into a room, just like, hey, what's up? And you're like, oh, shit.
Oh, yeah. Well, like you said, you gotta maintain your professionalism too, while not.
Yeah, you gotta hold your composure. Outside of those guys, what's some other major names that you got a good chance to work with?
last year we did a show in August in Evansville, and we had Big Daddy D on it, which it was a privilege having him there before he passed away.
Oh wow!
On that show, it was like just a few months, man, before he passed away, and he came work for us in Evansville.
You're talking about we're talking about Mabel, right?
Yeah, Mr. Mabel.
Right.
Big Daddy D.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I remember Darren Thompson was telling a story about just how big he was and how super nice he was too.
Yeah, man, he was a cool guy. And see, I met him before, and he was actually a lot bigger the first time I met him. From what I hear, he was getting in shape and doing real well for himself, and it just kind of came out of nowhere when he passed.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah,
that
is weird. This is like seems like once you get healthy, you die. It's like what the fuck? That's happened to Paul Bearer. He got that the gastric bypass. He was looking pretty good.
Yeah, he lost a lot of weight.
And then he died.
Yeah, I had the privilege of meeting him before he passed away too. We went on a show together. I actually just went to watch the show.
Now, Paul Bearer's real name is
Percy Pringle. Is that
Percy
his real
Pringle
name?
the Third?
No, his real name's William Moody. Percy
Okay.
Pringle
Okay.
the Third was the first wrestling name he went by in Texas.
Okay,
Okay.
It's so confusing.
It is confusing because I watched the interview with him. And he tried to explain that there was, I guess that's why he took up the third part of it. There was a couple Percy Pringles working territorially or in the territories as Percy Pringle.
I'm not really sure what the third was. I know he worked the man down in WCCW in Texas.
Okay. Yeah, apparently, yeah. There's some other territory also had that Percy Pringle name.
Yeah, that was really strange. So, as a wrestling fan, eventually, like we was talking about, it gets polarizing. You're either moderate or extremely hardcore. But Louisville, Kentucky, had actually had a very good reputation for wrestling. And Jim Cornette, I don't know if I'm sure you have. Checked. He is a big Kentucky fan. Like, he loves Kentucky, and most of his podcast and shoot interviews, whatever, he brings up the fact that Kentucky's a good state for pro wrestling.
Yeah, I believe he still lives in Kentucky.
Yeah, in the hills somewhere, I think. I'm not really sure. But he might be still in Louisville.
No, he still lives in Louisville.
Okay,
yeah,
well,
100%.
The reputation that Kentucky has for wrestling is a little bit understated there in the wrestling press and even in the internet, because Macho Man has been down here before.
The ring we actually own right now, the ring we do shows with, used to belong to a guy named Shelby Adcock, who ran in Central City years ago before us, and he helped my brother when my brother first started wanting to promote shows. This guy gave him a lot of advice, and we've had the ring we have has had everyone from Macho Man in it, to Jeff Jarrett, to Kane, Jerry Lawler, anyone that came through like the Mystic territory or came anywhere down south has been in the ring with wrestling. So that's pretty cool too. Whenever we got a ring, telling us all these stories and showing these pictures of these legends that's been in the same ring as we own now. So I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, because every time you step in there, Ray, when you're working on your spots, and taking bumps, you just think about that,
Yeah, you think about what led to that point, all the blood, sweat, and tears that kind of went into that canvas being laid down, the posts being bolted down to the ground, So, before you started doing this publicly, outside of the trampoline wrestling,
I think everyone has experimented with that before.
Yes, they did, but you went a little further.
You went the extra mile because you was that dedicated, right?
Yes, and that's I think why me and Casey thought it would be interesting to talk to you as opposed to anyone else on your roster, because we just knew that this guy's is taking it a little further. But before all that, you have a little musical background, and you was in KWA. Which was a little...
that was actually something that just got started in, middle school and high school. I was already wrestling at this point.
Okay.
I was, I wrestled from the age of... of course it wasn't serious, but from the age of 4 until now,
Right,
so,
right.
And actually, John Bevere, who's also in KWA...
Yes.
People don't know this, but he wrestled. He was part of the...
Yeah.
He wrestled all the way up until 2005, 2006.
You see him as a string bean, He's a tiny dude, but he apparently has a little knowledge of the ring,
Nobody has ever kicked me as hard as John Bevere.
All right, we're going to put that in.
Anyone in our roster that's ever been with John Bevere will tell you, John Bevere's kicked, yeah, he's a tough little guy. He used to make up for it by kicking the hell out of you.
So this was for those uninformed or has no idea, KWA was a little rap group. In fact, as far as Muhlenberg County was concerned, outside of solo rappers like Casey, Cash Roll, and a few others, you were a group. What inspired you to get into rap music?
Tyler Bruce, which you guys probably know Bruce, don't you?
Yeah. Bruce is awesome, dude.
Yeah.
He's a really good musician too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he can do just about anything. Anything you can play, he can play it somehow.
Yeah, he'll do it.
And he was already making beats for some reason on a computer. And I remember one time we had the mic here, and John just came over here and recorded some goofy ass songs. And then I don't know if Bruce convinced me or what, but we just started like. Of course, I tried to write really bad rap music, and we made a few really bad songs starting off, and just, there's a bunch of guys, just a bunch of high schoolers and middle school kids just fucking around, and made some little rap songs, and the more we got into it, the more we tried, and, it ended up being okay. I think we made some pretty decent stuff, but it never really got anywhere, because, we were just goofing off. We never tried to push it, or never tried to really get word out about it, and, I think now we're about to start back at it this summer, and as far as I know, we're going to try to make an album this summer and actually push it. And actually
do it, man.
Yeah, do it. Go ahead,
meeting, not just fucking around,
I feel you, man. It's like we've done a lot of rap tracks ourselves with Godzilla Force, and to me, it's just really fun.
It's fun. That's all it boils down to. Yeah.
Because, just get your friends together, and when you start taking anything you do too seriously, that's when it starts to suck.
I agree.
It's like, especially with the music thing, if you start taking it too seriously, it's going to start sounding like crap, and people will know that.
Then it's work instead of fun.
Right.
Yes. And that's where the line's drawn, and, the enthusiasm changes, and priorities change, and all
Not
that
that you
stuff.
want to do it, it's that you got to do it.
Yeah, that's the difference. It really does boil down to that. Yes.
See, that definitely translates, I would assume, to your wrestling too.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you're just going
there's a lot of work that goes into it, but and that's another thing, man. We got a crew that works their asses off to make this happen, and there's a lot of work that goes into it, but it's all in fun. At the end of the day, the payoff is to get out there in front of a crowd and wrestle, and
right.
Okay.
like that,
So was there any particular hip-hop group or rap artists that inspired your work as far as doing music is concerned?
I'd be lying if I didn't tell you I'm like a huge Eminem fan.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I like Eminem too.
Me too, man. Me too. He's killer, man. He's killer.
Yeah, he's pretty raw.
Honestly, there's a lot of good rappers, but he's got to be up at the top of the list anyway.
Oh, dude, at least top 5, at least.
Yeah. It was interesting. I was talking with Kevin and with the Fishbone thing, and I met
Kevin
Ethan.
Willoughby?
Yeah,
Yes.
Kevin Willoughby, and I met Ethan Matheny, which is a guy he works with, and I asked him the question. It wasn't a podcast thing. I just legitimately, I said, "Who inspired you?" And he said, Tupac, but he didn't listen to rap. He was into poetry, and he just understood the rhythm of the voice, and that's the reason why he did it. And I thought that was very interesting. It in a sense, to put this in, I guess in wrestling terms, it's like someone who only watched 20 minutes of a warm-up of Tito Santana versus Nick Bockwinkel, and all of a sudden he understood everything about wrestling and went into it. I find it very interesting, the raw approach that some people take. To a theologian, they might see it as very one-dimensional, but when they come into the ring or a trampoline or the backyard, all of a sudden they're artists. And to an extent, I believe that's true. What I saw of your work and Chris's work was phenomenal.
Solid, man.
It was like, damn. Yeah, I was very impressed, and if I could afford it, I would have went to a lot of your shows, but I couldn't. But what I saw on the internet, the vignettes and the compilations they're done, I was like,
damn.
This is legit. This is fun. This is what I'm talking about. I wish I could be doing what he's doing right now, and that's what you should do. I think as your ring repertoire and character and the shows evolve, you're going to continue to inspire some people, dude. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, like to me, because I'm doing it, it just seems like every day to me. I don't, when people tell me that, it's just like what, it's kind of amazing to me that people see it as inspiring.
Yes, it
people
is.
See it as following a dream. To me, it's like everyday life.
Because when
John Bevere and some of my other friends will put it over to me, I'm like, man, I'm just doing my thing.
Yeah, I've noticed that. That's the same thing with most groups and music and in writing. It's always in stride. It's always something that they do that is they don't even think too much about it. It just happens. But what I think is good about your in-ring work is you understood. If I was Vince McMahon, for example, and I was looking, just so happened to breeze through a bunch of just vignettes and tapes, the reason why he would pay attention to you is your intensity in your promo. The ring psychology is legit. I was about to say,
you got really good ring psychology, and I think it seems like every move that you do is already been calculated like 30 moves in advance. Like you move with sure-footedness, I guess.
Yeah. What would you describe your style as? Would you say it's more scientific with power moves, or is it more power moves before scientific?
I really don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, for a big guy, I don't do that many power moves. I just try to, what I look at it is I try to do what other people aren't doing.
Okay.
Yeah. If everyone's doing flips, I'm not going to flip because they've already seen that. If everybody's,
right.
striking, I don't really need to strike because they've already seen that. You just got to do whatever you can to stand apart with whatever you're doing, music, wrestling, anything like that. I don't know if I have a definitive style. I just kind of do what I think will work.
Your style actually kind of reminds me of what Bray Wyatt is doing right now. I think that's why Vince a top promoter would kind of fish you out of the bunch.
I guess I can kind of see that. But
I can see that.
Ray has his own bit.
I know. I'm not saying
I
he's, but it's the versatility because like Bray Wyatt will work as a power guy. And then all of a sudden, he will take a run and do a senton splash. And like it was so nonchalant and so fluid.
I was always intrigued with watching guys like Vader and Bigelow and some of these bigger dudes to do backflips.
Yes, do moonsaults. Yeah.
I mean, of course, a lot of the bigger guys are going to be slower, but they didn't really let it slow them down. They kind of just said, these small guys can do it, but we can too, and that's kind of the same mindset I have. If I can do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do my best at it.
Now, Shane Helms had posted on Facebook that he was very impressed with your locker room conduct. He was very impressed.
Yeah, I saw that. I kind of popped for that. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that made me feel
really
good too, man.
Awesome, dude.
That's all you got really in wrestling is the word of other people, especially more experienced people than you. If he posts on Facebook about how respectful locker room, or you think you said something about WWA is one of his new favorite feds.
That's a big deal, dude.
That makes other guys with experience say, okay, well these guys aren't fucking around. These guys aren't idiots. We're gonna get what we're told. And we're not. It's not gonna be work. It's gonna be fun. I thought that was really cool of them.
Yeah, because, back to professionalism. If you guys, I'm not saying this would ever happen, but if you guys were just infighting and just bubbling fools, they would, that's just bad for business,
And I'm not going to lie, there are people in this company I don't like, and that's no bullshit, but when you show up at a show, you're at work, You work at McDonald's, you don't like someone working there, you ain't going to go in there and beat the shit out of them. There's a time and place for that. You got to remain professional at all times. That's just the way it goes.
So, have you experienced any major injuries since you started doing this professionally?
Not anything major, really. Or not anything diagnosed. I've hit my head and knocked loose, I've messed up my knee or messed up my elbow or my shoulder to where it was hard to work with. But I've never really, until Obama came by, I didn't have any health care anyway, so
dude, speaking of that, just lighten the mood a little bit. I got my health card in yesterday, dude. Who'd you sign up with?
No, I don't know. I never read it.
Oh shit.
I don't think most people did.
I got my Humana card yesterday, and I was like, hell yeah! Now I can just go to the doctor because I thought only rich people do that. You know.
Yeah, that's how it is for years. I'm hurt, but I can't afford to go to the doctor. Fuck that. I'll just wait it off. If it ain't better in so long, I will. Plus, my grandma's a nurse, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, that helps it out, man. Plus, that's what I'm going to school for, man. I'm going to school to become an RN. So
That's neat, man.
Yeah, it's just.
I wish I did something like that.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those things, man. It's just tired of working menial jobs and, not going anywhere.
You're happy for yourself.
Yeah, man. Because it seems like in this world today, man, even if I do have that degree, you still have to compete with 100 other people for the same spot, you know?
And speaking of working for your spot and holding on to it, what is your, I guess, conclusion of the industry as a whole today?
I mean, of course, it's not as popular as it once was, but honestly, I feel like no matter what, I'm a professional wrestling, no matter how bad it gets or how good it is. It's just one of those things. Once it gets in your blood, you can get rid of it. So I mean, like I watch Raw or something, and of course, there's points where I'm like, there's down points and there's high points, but I think they're getting on the right track now. I think they're kind of, they're going. It seems like they're heading for something new, and I dig it.
I feel you, man.
And I'm like a wrestling nerd. I watch everything.
Yeah, me too.
Stuff. I watch TNA, I watch WWE, whether it's good or bad. I mean,
yeah.
I
can't get enough of it. I mean, all I do when I got free time is watch some kind of wrestling. It's crazy that sounds.
I feel you, man. It's like, I ain't gonna lie though, man. There was, I think it was a period in 2009 and 10 where I didn't watch anything wrestling related.
I don't blame you for that period, man.
It was pretty bad. But back to I heard you mention TNA, man. It seems like I want them to succeed so bad. I want them to do well, but what is stopping them? What is their locker room really that jacked up, you think?
Honestly, I just don't think enough people know about it. I mean, whether it's good or bad, if nobody knows about it, no one's going to watch it. And I think that's why, I don't know if they don't promote or what. I mean, I know about it because I'm a wrestling fan, but if you're just a casual fan who only knows WWE, you probably don't know much about it.
Exactly.
So I think they do a lot better. They just got the word out more.
Right, dude, because I think their X division has always been awesome. I think they have the better divas, diva wrestling. They also have Austin Aries. Always thought he was a really good wrestler. Bobby Roode, he's really good. They have really good wrestlers. And Bubba Ray or Bully Ray, this is the best he's ever looked in his whole career.
Yeah, he looks really good right now. Yeah,
and
I was a big fan of him whenever he started doing the Bully Ray thing. Man, he really got out on his own, stepped his game up a whole lot. Man, that's the guy I love to wrestle.
He really separated himself, from the tag team spot,
into a solo performer. He did a good job.
He's really good.
Also, like Samoa Joe down in TNA, he's still doing his thing.
Oh, dude,
he's great, dude. And it just kills me sometimes on the talkbacks or on the forums. People's like, Samoa Joe needs to lose weight, man. He looks like shit. I was like, I just keep thinking these guys who say that are fucking assholes. A and B. Have you seen this guy wrestle? Are you serious? How can you be talking shit about Samoa Joe, man?
Samoa Joe he's not the typical brick shithouse Bruno Sammartino looking motherfucker, but what he does is Mick Foley, if anybody, would be parading him with pom poms. It's like, this is the kind of guy you want to see. He doesn't look like this bodybuilding Greek god. He's out there. He's doing some very interesting holds and suplex variations and so on.
The muscle buster, dude. That's fucking badass move, man.
But see, Ray, in this world, in wrestling world at this time, what this does is boost the interest in indie wrestling. And what I've noticed on the internet is there is a rebirth of indie professional wrestling. Tenfold. A lot of people are attending indie wrestling events more so and more enthusiastically than they have in
with
many
the
years.
internet and everything, you can get word out a lot easier too.
Yes.
That's
You
true.
know, people that would have never known about WWA or known about a Ring of Honor or anything like that, now with like Twitter and Facebook, you can get the word out and more people see your stuff.
Well, I
Right.
think people are seeking alternatives right now.
For a lot of people, like I wouldn't even known that Ring of Honor existed because we're not in that television market. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And-
plus, you got all these guys on WWE now who are from the Indies, so all it takes is someone saying like a Daniel Bryan or a Cesaro or something, and then someone that's an indie wrestling fan says, "Yeah, did you know he came from Ring of Honor? Well, what's Ring of Honor?" And then that's another person that goes and searches out and starts seeing more indie wrestling. So I think that kind of has to do with the growing popularity too.
Yeah, man. It's like because ROH produced WWE's biggest superstars that they've had in the past 10 years. CM Punk and Daniel Bryanson or Brian. Well, yeah,
Daniel Bryan Singh.
Yeah, whatever. His flip flop name. You know what I'm saying. Brian Danielson. That was it. Yeah, that's it. It's just I don't know. It's fantastic. Ray, I think I'm just gonna take a small break here. This has been a really good conversation. We'll be right back with the Stiff Oddcast with the Superstar Ray Waddell.